Hey everybody, welcome back to Warpaint Off-Road. Today's video is gonna be about the biggest automotive scam on the face of the earth. It doesn't matter what vehicle you drive. I don't care what it is and how brand loyal you are. They all are subject to this scam. So you need to watch this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. At this point, guys, you know that I'm all about helping people, giving back to the automotive community, especially the off-road community. But this thing, like I said a minute ago, it applies to everybody. I mean, absolutely everybody. I don't care if you're driving a high-end Mercedes, a Ferrari. I don't care if you're driving a Ford. It doesn't matter what you're driving. You are gonna have this problem presented to you. If you don't know any better, it's going to cost you a ton of cash.
Try me.
$22,600.
Oh, God!
Make sure, like I said a minute ago, that you subscribe to the channel because you don't want to miss out on other videos that are also going to help you save a bunch of cash. And let's get down to work here and start talking about the biggest scam. Let me set the scene here. You got a little dash light come on in your vehicle. Maybe your vehicle decided to tell you that it needed an oil change. Maybe you're following what the dealership recommended. Now you're sitting in the waiting room, okay? You got kids screaming off to the side. Or maybe you go to the Mercedes dealer and they're offering you those warm little cookies.
Well, man from health department say he find rat pellet in our pastry, but I say no. Is big chocolate sprinkle, but he shut store down. So we clean up, make big cookie.
Free bottles of water at the Dodge dealership because, you know, it's Dodge.
Oh, come on.
Hey, all that working out and you can't open a water bottle?
And then they tell you that your vehicle is finished. And now it's time to pay. And now it's time for them to sell you a bunch of crap that you may or may not need to do, but it's all gonna cost you. Now, dealerships aren't stupid. They know that you work hard for your money, but they also know that you don't really know a ton about your vehicle, because if you did, you wouldn't be bringing it to them to have them repair it or do that oil change or whatever that basic maintenance is. And they really lay it on thick and scam you when you buy a new vehicle and they say it comes with a whole mess of free oil changes. Guys, I'm pretty sure you understand these days that nothing is free. So they're gonna try to sell you a bunch of junk that you don't need for a bunch of cash that you worked hard for. Let's talk about what those things are, what you need to do, what you don't need to do, and let's get to it. Save you a bunch of money and expose the truth.
You can't handle the truth!
Willie the shop cat, she thinks it's a scam too. Yeah, that dealership really sucks. We're gonna kick this off by talking about the number one thing every single vehicle on the street needs to have done, unless you're driving one of those crappy electric vehicles, is getting your oil changed. Don't fall for the hype at the dealership of them promising you that because they use this kind of oil or because their engine is made at this factory with this fancy voodoo magic that you can wait longer than 5,000 miles to change your oil. A lot of companies out there these days are recommending 10,000, 15,000 mile intervals between oil changes. And let me tell you guys, it's absolute garbage to do that to your vehicle. The reason they're going to tell you that is because they built a little bit of a rapport with you. They built a relationship with you. They want you to think that less maintenance on your vehicle is more convenient for you, and it is. But the bottom line is it's more convenient for the dealership. Okay, the dealership is a business. It's about making money. They're not going to want to bring you in often to change your oil because that's not where they make their money. And when they do bring you in to change your oil, they're going to try to rip you off every single time that you're in there. If you follow the dealer's recommendation and you wait that 10, 15,000 miles to change your oil every time, you're either have sold it and you're into the next vehicle, or your vehicle has trouble that you now have to deal with. But guess what? No matter what the situation is, you're out of a warranty, so you need to make sure that that money comes out of your pocket And the dealership doesn't care. The next biggest scam, changing your brake fluid. You don't have to change your brake fluid almost ever. There's a few exceptions to that. If you have a real high performance vehicle and you're taking it to track days and you're really running it and really overheating those brakes a lot, okay, maybe you change your brake fluid every once in a while. But if you're that person, then you already know that. You don't need to be told that by the dealership when you bring your Toyota Corolla, Jeep Cherokee, or your pickup truck in for your 15,000 mile oil change. Changing your brake fluid is absolutely ridiculous. And here's how you can very simply check at home to know if it really should be changed or not. Basically located in the exact same place in every vehicle that's ever made. On the Jeep, we're gonna go to the driver's side. There's a white jug here. This jug holds your brake fluid. There's a gauge usually on the side, the minimum maximum line, and you can take the top off of that, vehicle running or not, and look inside. And you can see mine's pretty clear. To the tow pig. Same thing. Jug looks a little different, brake booster looks a little different, but we're still on the driver's side of the vehicle up against the firewall near the windshield. If that fluid is clean, you do not have to change it. It's hydraulic fluid. It breaks down with extreme temperatures. It breaks down when moisture gets introduced. Heck, even if it's dirty, it's still not an emergency. It would be a bigger emergency if your brake fluid was low. If you have enough brake fluid and it's kind of dirty, guys, you're fine to drive back and forth to work and drop your kid off at school. The old transmission flush. This one is a little bit tricky. Transmission fluid flushes should be done every 50,000 miles. Some vehicles may recommend 60. Some vehicles, though, recommend never changing it. They say that their transmission is sealed, meaning don't change it for the life of the vehicle. Guys, take your vehicle immediately from whoever tells you that, go to a transmission shop and ask them to change your fluid every 50,000 miles. Because if you don't, your transmission won't last all that long without problems, depending upon how you drive it. Now, of course, there's the guy out there that's like, I drove mine 200,000 miles without issues. Congratulations. But you're taking a huge gamble if you do that. And if you like to gamble with a lot of cash, that's fine, because a modern day transmission could cost you anywhere between $6,000 and up $1,000.
Oh, God! Eddie! Oh, my God! Please.
But what about the guy that bought theirs used? What about the guy that bought their vehicle, doesn't know the history on it, and it might have a bunch of miles on it? Do I change it? Do I assume the last guy changed it? Here's the deal. If you're not sure if it's been changed, I would change it. Unless there's 100,000 miles on the vehicle. If there's 100,000 miles on the vehicle and you're not sure if it's been changed, I'd probably at that point leave it alone. It's kind of a crapshoot. Again, back to the gambling. The problem is, transmissions break down. There's going to be all sorts of gunk and material in your fluid. A lot of the time, changing it can dislodge things. It moves things around. It pumps that gunk and fluid around your transmission, and it gets into places where it shouldn't be, and it can cause you problems. Sometimes it'll fix the problem. Sometimes it makes it worse and it kills your transmission. So that's a gamble and it's up to you. But that's also why you need to change it every 50,000 miles. Your air filter is probably one of the biggest scams on the face of the earth. And here's why. Air filter on your vehicle can easily be located. They do put them in different places under your hood, but it usually is easily located by a tube coming off of the motor, maybe going over to the driver's side or passenger side, who knows. But you'll come to this big black box. And if you look at this box, there's usually either screws or bolts that hold it down like there is here. Or very commonly, like this F-150 here, you have these little clamps. And all you have to do is pop these clamps off, lift up that top cover, and there is your air filter. Now, companies are gonna wanna charge you 30, 40, maybe even more dollars to change your air filter out. And guys, let me be honest with you here. This filter, it's like $6, $8, $10 at an auto parts store. Obviously, you're gonna pay more for it on your BMW than you would on something like an American-made vehicle, but they're not expensive. But you can buy a drop-in filter replacement that is cleanable, and you'll never have to pay them again to do it. Just remember that you have them in there, because I have gone to places with that kind of filter and they still tell me that it needs to be replaced by their $20 paper filter. So You're not going to get any more horsepower by swapping that out, but it is something that you can do very easily at home. Just lift that filter out, replace it with something that's cleanable and reusable, and then you don't have any issues and you never have to worry about getting ripped off at the dealership again for like the 10,000th time. But guys, that's basically it. If you like what I'm doing here on this channel, Warpaint Off-Road, check it out because I'm showing you guys everything about vehicles. We're talking maintenance, we're talking re-gear and axles, we're talking welding, we're talking custom suspensions, all sorts of crazy stuff on crazy off-road vehicles. But if that's not your thing, there's videos on here that talk about stuff like this video did. So stick around, it's definitely gonna help you guys save a buck or two. Get out there, make sure you build something.